Get ready to crank it up this Friday from 7 to 10 at the Yard. We've got Radio Band bringing you the best 70s, 80s, and 90s rock hits.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of the Thunder Mountain Wrestling main event. We are just days away from Eye of the Storm, which promises to be an electric event. The mouthpiece of Arizona Southeast, Dave Davies, alongside Paul Corder. Dave, we are super excited for this Saturday.
It is. Every one of these events gets better and better and better. We are in a new location this week. It's going to be a very loud location. It's going to be a blast. There's going to be VIP matches only for VIPs. If you're not a VIP, you don't get to watch them. We're going to talk about that. But before we do that, we are sitting here today, as always, at Urban Action Yard. It's become very close to the hottest place in Sierra Vista, Arizona. Monday, they got music bingo. Tuesday's pub trivia with prizes, gift cards. Wednesday, family night, 40% off axe throwing, 20% off happy hour 4 to 10. Thursday, military appreciation day, 20% off the first responders. We may need some of those on Saturday.
We always do.
Well, I did learn something about Urban Action Yard that I did not know. They serve adult beverages for classy people like me, so give me the garçon.
No, please, for the love. No.
All right. Well, thank you.
The last thing he needs is a beverage. Hey, everyone. This is Carrie. This is the owner of Urban Action Yard, Carrie. A lot of fun things going on. Dave just listed off. You have live music on Fridays. What do you got going on this week?
Well, thanks, Paul. Appreciate you coming out here every time.
Not so much Dave, though, right?
He's all right.
Somebody that recognizes real class.
So, currently, we're doing live music on Fridays and Saturday. Next Friday, we got Nightlight out here. They're going to be from 7 to 10, live band.
I am familiar with them.
And then we got a couple weekends after that. We got live. We got Crochet with Deborah. You can come out here and do that during Saturday from 1 to 4. We also have other events coming up. You'll see us at the Oktoberfest with our trailer out there, so come see us. We also have leagues coming up. September 22nd is open house here. Free pizza and free axe throwing for those interested in joining our leagues. We'll show you how to throw. You come down, win, get your name up on the plaques, and have some good times here. First of all, don't say pizza around my co-broadcaster. I need him for the rest of the show. Thanks for stopping by, but this is all about me. We don't need you anymore, so.
That's not necessary.
Oh, you know what I forgot?
One sip of beer. This is what happens with one sip. Let me tell you.
Make sure you don't spend this in one place. Okay? We take care of those that take care of us.
And enjoy the 2% tip, Carrie. Sorry about him. Well, I'll be doggone, Dave. Thanks for ruining such a good moment. Is there anything you can't do?
I can't dance, but I do have jokes. Hey, Busy.
Jokes.
Knock, knock.
Who said?
Your co-broadcaster, and he's never leaving.
Oh, man. Some people ask me, why are you still friends with that guy? That's why. That one joke. Anyway, let's get right into the Eye of the Storm, Dave. And like you said, we have 2 VIP matches going on right away. And so that's going to be headlined by a big name. We'll talk about him later. So our first match, we have Stevie Ray Pym and Ian Knight versus Ron Reed and Mr. Black. That is a monstrosity of a team, that Mr. Black and Ron Reed.
They battled each other. It was a very contested affair. They decided to partner up. Those two are going to be more dangerous than unprotected romance with my ex. I feel bad for Stevie Ray Pym. I like the kid, but Mr. Black and Ron Reed, it was black on black crime in the first one. Now it's just going to be black and crime against everybody in this one. They are going to just now you might find them in a tag team title match someday.
I was going to say,
boys,
watch out, Thunder Mountain Wrestling Tag Team Division. They have got world breakers on the roster of Ron Reed and Mr. Black now, and they could put it all together. They were forces in the Thunder Rumble as well. They know their way around this ring.
Yeah, I like Stevie Ray. He's a good kid. He did lose to a Canadian. I'll never let him forget it. But, Ron Reed got Mr. Black in the air. Mr. Black weighs 350 pounds. Ron Reed body slammed that man, and all of a sudden they realize, they look at each other and be like, why are we fighting each other? We should be kicking everybody's ass together.
Yeah.
Now they're about to.
You're not wrong about that.
Might want to get a VIP ticket for that one.
Yeah, that one. It's tough to see Ron Reed or Mr. Black going down, but Stevie Ray, he's taking out Bad News Bagoo before.
Stop talking about my ex. I already mentioned her. I heard going down.
So he's taken out Bad News Bagoo before, so Stevie Ray's the one that, much like a Drake Young, where he could shock you from out of nowhere. That's going to bring us to our main event for the VIP section. And we said we had a name. Boy, do we ever. From the Peacemakers, Shavero is taking on Street Rat Jimmy and Timothy Allister.
Street Rat Jimmy, well-earned spot on this card. He showed up in Bisbee, and he showed out. That little Mohawk freak had a heck of a match in that Rumble. I like Street Rat Jimmy a lot. Maybe that psychopath Shavero can finally get what first.
He took out Tecolote in that Rumble, and that is no small task. Street Rat Jimmy, in his first contest, fans loved him. Feeding off that energy, was able to take out one of the biggest stars we have in our sport.
Yeah, he looks like a White Snake groupie, but the kid can wrestle.
I believe they call it Punk. But either which way, that's going to go ahead and take us to the main show. And in this main show, after the VIP, which you can watch on Cool FM Live, we're going to start with a Stampede Survivor match. It's going to be 5-on-5 elimination style, last man standing.
Boy, my ex is dominant in this conversation. Well, it's normally 5-on-1, but yes.
It does have the capabilities to be that way, but as it stands, we're going to have Tecolote, Victor Urces, Gustavo Perez, the Iron Pitbull, and Guerrero Picante going up against Jeff Roth, Hobby Baja, Drake Young, RKG, and Pop Chulo.
Those are some very randomly large teams of assembly. It's like a Marvel movie, like good versus bad. Pop Chulo is my guy. You said Victor Urces is on that other squad. Victor Urces has probably got to be a little pissed that he has to go into this Survivor match instead of fighting for maybe the belt against some animal, because he's done nothing but kick everybody's ass since he got here.
Let's do then.
Victor Urces is a bad man.
Hopefully Sincere gets back. He's been out of action. I don't think we're going to see him in this event, but it would be great if he did at least show up. But that's such a bad injury he had. But let's go ahead and talk not about Pop, but about Victor Urces, because Victor Urces has a gripe. Victor Urces has one official loss in Thunder Mountain Wrestling. It was to the Manimal. Then what happened? He took out Pop Chulo, got the #1 contendership, and had to go in a triple threat match against Brick Savage and Manimal. He didn't get pinned. It wasn't on him. And now it just seems like Thunder Mountain Wrestling management keeps it. Like, the more he talks about it, the more it makes sense. Maybe there is something going on keeping Victor Urces down.
All I know is that man is scarier than my about to drive home. And so Victor, again, the disrespect to Victor Urces to be forced into this match. But again, there's some heavy hitters in there. Heavy hitters in that match. RKG is in that match. I mean, if there's a guy bigger than the Manimal in Thunder Mountain Wrestling, it's that guy right there. That guy is a monster.
When you look at Pop's team of RKG and Pop and Drake Young, one of the hottest wrestlers, was in the Thunder Rumble at 1 and was eliminated by Bagu, the last person out. So he's definitely got some skills. One person to keep an eye on, Gustavo Perez. That guy is nothing but an electric factory. He's the only one in this match that really has the athleticism of the leg kicks. Jeff Roth has it a little bit, but Gustavo Perez, his kicks are his ability.
Yeah, you mentioned electricity. I mean, again, he brings more of it than the taser I'm about to deal with on my ride home.
Oh, man. The jokes keep on coming. The hits are here, folks. Stay tuned. That's going to bring us to our county coin match. Now, Dave, this is going to be our first ever coin-on-coin match. Bad News Bagu against Gino Told You So. I believe this is the very first time we're going to have coin versus coin. Winner's going to take the other person's coin.
Coin-on-coin match. Bad News Bagu against Gino Told You So. That is a silver dollar against a peso. Bad News Bagu is a man that just ran through 20 men. Gino Told You So. I mean, I love you and all, but Bad News Bagu is about to ruin your day.
No, the last time we saw Gino Told You So, he was against AJ Sensation and Gustavo Perez, and he had that triple threat match, was a contender for match of the year so far in Thunder Mountain Wrestling.
It was a good one.
And those are two hell of competitors that he was able to come out on top of. And so I wouldn't discredit it, but Bad News Bagu's right in this hot streak. He's outlasted 20 people in the Thunder Rumble, and this kind of seems like this is a warm-up match for him again for his upcoming title match against the Manimal.
Yeah, hold on one second. Get your lips off of Bagu's ass. He doesn't like you. And you over here like, oh, he's going to be like Gino Told You So. Trust me, you ain't getting yourself garnering any favors with that man.
First of all, fair and
his
balanced.
name ain't like,
over here.
I may have something ill to tell you, Bagu. His name is Bad News Bagu, and he's about to show you why when he sees you next time.
Well, if you would stop irritating him, I would have to stop getting in between you two. But anyway, with that one being said, Gino's going to be a tough out, but bad news riding this hot streak, and I don't know if anyone can take bad news right now.
Yeah, I think that's a one-way ticket to Bootyville for Toby. So. Love you, guy, but
that's going to bring us to one of my most anticipated matches, the Block, going for the tag team championships against the Foundation. And before we get into this, I mean, the Block are they're on a roll right now. Interesting dynamics going on in Thunder Mountain Wrestling right now when we talk about a restraining order that was served to both the Peacemakers and the Foundation with no one really attaching their name onto it.
Yeah, like 1 penny, that doesn't make sense. Like, I'm not sure what's going on right now. I would understand if the Peacemakers had put out that order of protection against the Foundation, considering that the Foundation has kicked their ass every time they run into them.
Watch your words, dude. You'll see at the end of this. Just
I
watch
wouldn't
your
be
words.
surprised if it came from the Peacemakers towards the Foundation, but we're not really sure the origin of that. Don Carlos is a weird guy.
And that's what I was thinking too. Is this from management?
Weird guy. I've been
No, we've heard with we've spoken with Don Carlos in upper management in Thunder Mountain Wrestling, and they always are a little bit alarmed because they have to bring extra security into the locker rooms, and they have to keep the Peacemakers and the Foundation separated. There's been run-ins from both sides on different matches, and so they just feel like it's hurting the product in the ring, where people want to see a winner and a loser, and they don't want to see all this extra shenanigans going on.
Well, I mean, and another thing is probably insurance liability. If they let the Foundation and the Peacemakers keep wrecking with each other, they can't afford a prosthetic leg for Stud Bronson. And so, I mean, you got to start considering things where you're like, we can't afford another limb for this guy who just, that's. I'm assuming that's possibly a consideration. I know what's going on.
Stay tuned, folks. We have a special guest, and I don't think he's going to be too happy. That's going to bring us.
We have a special guest.
Yeah, I didn't tell you about it.
Special guest.
It's a very good cause, so I want you to be polite. But before we get to that, we talked about the Block and how hot they are. They just took out Cheer Perfection. And they have this interesting dynamic where we have a lot of athleticism from Xander Phillips, and then JF3000 is a monster. A monster that can go eye to eye and toe to toe with the Manimal, and especially in intensity, because he's right there too. We saw him superplex Chivero off the top rope, and that's not easy to pull off.
The Block has earned this particular match against the Foundation. That being said, I mean, there are levels to this intelligence game over here, and the Foundation, being the smartest wrestlers of Thunder Mountain Wrestling, and so the Block, I just don't see them, being able to, they're going to be getting tricked by your shoes untied joke while Will Kennedy gets the pin for the win.
Well, that is the thing, too, when you have someone as intense as JF3000, sometimes he loses focus on anything besides blood and guts.
A little booty action over there, and the guy just lost his crap completely.
To be fair, I would, too. But
all that tells me is that I would have a chance against him in prison.
No, in this one, I mean, it's tough, but there's no hotter tag team in Thunder Mountain Wrestling than the Block.
I'm not going to disagree with that.
However, we've seen these titles on the Foundation for so long, and like you said, sometimes the smarts come out on top. That's going to bring us to our first co-main event of the evening. That's going to be Manimal, the premier purveyor of Southwest Strong Style, against the man of 1,000 deaths, Mil Muertes.
Oh, there we go. You got my attention.
Coffin match. Some might call it buried alive.
The Manimal, he just keeps winning and winning and winning. I don't know how he does it. He's like a Democrat. Winning. I don't know how he just keeps pulling this off. But he has now met his match. And you said the man of 1,000 deaths. Well, he's going to be 1,001 because the Manimal's going into the coffin.
We keep getting these big luchas coming up from Mexico, and they just keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Tecolote, he was standing toe-to-toe with RKG, and now Mil Muertes, he's going to give Manimal a run for his money. In a coffin match, anything can happen.
Yeah, like a man of 1,000 deaths is about to be 1,001. Like it's like Paul Walker in the grave.
Your early 2000s references are just on point, Dave.
I said Queen Elizabeth. She died sometime recently.
No, I mean, you use it enough. By this time, it's from the 80s. For some reason,
my memory is not what it used to be.
Anyway, we're going to bring in our special guest right now, Dave.
It's going to be right here. Who is the special guest?
It's going to be World War Stud Bronson. I told you to watch him out. It wasn't about me. Stud Bronson, thank you for showing up to the Thunder Mountain Wrestling main event.
Well, thanks for having me, gentlemen. I really appreciate it.
You're here for a very special reason. You got a couple things that you want to talk about going on with Thunder Mountain Wrestling and charities.
I do. With our first show ever, Thunder Mountain Wrestling, we actually did it at the Sierra Vista Rodeo Riding Club Arena. And since then, they've actually been a big help. We've done multiple shows there. They're basically a part of the Thunder Mountain family. So as the Thunder Mountain ambassador, I have been sent out to let everybody know at this next show, Eye of the Storm, August 31st at the Arizona Prep Academy, we will be taking donations for damages they suffered during this past monsoon. It's over $15,000 in damages, and if we could help them recoup just even a little bit of that, I think it would be it'd be really good. Everything they've done for us, everything they do for the community, I just think it'd be nice if we could help them show how much we love them. Yeah.
A couple of raindrops and they want my money? I'm going to save that dollar bill for the gentleman that brings me the beer. But no, you're in an honest note, it is a good cause.
Yes.
Get out there and help the people that help us.
And then I would also like to say our next show after Eye of the Storm is called Point Break. That will be September 28th. It will be it is a good movie. It will be at the Bisbee Pumas Gym.
Yes.
September 28th. On the next day, though, the September 29th, we will be at the Urban Axe Yard, and we will be doing a charity event where you can come and throw axes against the professional wrestlers from Thunder Mountain Wrestling, and Thunder Mountain Wrestling will be throwing for Strong Hearts and the Murdered and Missing Indigenous Women Fund. So anything we make from that, we would want to send all the proceeds to those two charities because we think that is something that should be taken very seriously.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, 100%. Everyone agrees with you on. So with that being said, thank you for Thunder Mountain Wrestling and all the charitable work you're doing. Thank you for being the ambassador, Stud, because you've been out in front of everybody, getting in front of this thing, in front of all these things. But let's go ahead and talk about your match now. This is for the Super Vader Championship, and if anyone remembers, the RAMROCK was able to defeat Bad News Bagu, and the only way you can win this championship belt is by answering a 10 count when your opponent does not. You have got to knock your opponent out for a count of 10. Stud Bronson, you've been in a war last month. Are you ready for this kind of action after what you just went through in that death match?
You know, Paul, I'm going to be real honest with you. I don't think a man can ever be fully ready to face somebody like the RAMROCK, especially with the legacy that this belt is supposed to uphold. This belt is in the legacy of Vader and Stan Hansen and men like that would go to Japan and they would go and they would do these wars in one of the most famous matches of all time. Vader gets his eyeball knocked out of his skull by Stan Hansen, and he shoves it back in and continues to wrestle. And when you step in for the Super Vader Championship, you're basically signing up and agreeing to be able to do something like that. So, am I ready? As ready as I'll ever be.
There seems to be a lot of respect between you and RAMROCK. We heard about from RAMROCK, I should say, earlier, and he's been across locker rooms with you, and he thinks that you're the first worthy opponent to take him on for the Super Vader Championship. Obviously, that respect goes out the window when you're in the ring, and like I said, you have to answer the 10 count. Is there any strategy that you have that you can tell us going into this matchup? I don't want you to give all your secrets away, but this is, I mean, at the end of the day, this is blood and guts, it seems like.
It is blood and guts, and I think the only way to be prepared is to practice, to outlast and survive. The RAMROCK is somebody who I consider to be preternaturally strong, and that's coming from somebody who's got a 405-pound overhead press myself. I believe that the RAMROCK is one of the strongest people I've ever stepped into the ring with. One punch from him is basically being hit by a motorcycle.
That overhead press means he could lift us both.
Oh,
at the same time.
Well, now, what I'm curious is when you're done taking your lips off your own butt, let's talk about some wrestling science real quick, Stud. So the RAMROCK was able to take down Bad News Bagu, who was able to take down 20 men in his next appearance, but yet you needed the help of multiples to beat up 2. So as far as wrestling math is concerned here, please explain to me how you're going to come out victorious against that guy.
I think what's going to have to happen is that I'm going to have to find something inside of me that I've put away, something too dark for TV, something too dark for live audiences.
We already talked about that at the block.
I think I'm going to have to show these people at home a side of me that I didn't want to show them. I'm going to have to become something super aggressive and super violent, and we got to see, I think, a little bit of that at Eye of the Storm, or not Eye of the Storm, the Thunder Rumble in the Texas Death Match.
Yeah, that death match. Putting up some cobwebs, we can understand that for sure.
Yeah.
I was able to check in with you guys halfway through, and you were still bedridden. And, you know, obviously the Foundation's in Tucson. They didn't want anyone to see them in their condition. Looks like they're ready to go now for their title match. But, my goodness, it is going to be a heck of a fight at Eye of the Storm, and especially for that Super Vader Championship. We have tag team championships on the line. We have the Thunder Mountain Wrestling Heavyweight Championship on the line, and then the Super Vader Championship. This
and
promised to
coin
be
as well.
Ooh,
and
the
county
county
as well.
coin. I forget. This is the first county coin on county coin match.
To my understanding, it is a county coin versus county coin, and whoever wins gets their opponent's county coin.
First time ever.
And then adds an additional county coin. So the winner of this county coin match will have 3 of them.
Oh, wow. All right, then. And that's going to be, again, Bagu against
Gino told you so.
Gino told you so. It's not Rivera anymore.
Like,
huh?
Bad News Bagu just beat 20 men. Gino told you so. I mean, again, electric fighter, but I mean, you're in for a bad day.
I don't like agreeing
Pun
with Dave
intended.
very often, but this does kind of seem like a warm-up match for Bagu.
Oh, don't be kissing his ass now.
Before he
the
gets
man
to
hates
Thunder.
you.
He doesn't hate
The man
me.
despises you.
The man
So
doesn't
you
like
go
when
with-
I get in between him and you. That's
might-
it.
I was
That's
I was
it. Anyway, so
pushing up
here
to
we
Gino
go.
told you so. So maybe you have a friend in this world. It ain't me.
I should point out that Gino told you so is not called the Puerto Rican pit bull because he gives kisses at night. It's because he's one of the most dangerous people to ever step inside of a professional wrestling ring.
Oh, absolutely. And we've seen him. He's been on AEW. He's been on the cream of the crop promotions before, and he got there for a reason. But I think that's going to do it for our special guest, Stud Bronson. Thank you for
having me.
coming.
Hey, thanks for having me, Stud.
Oh, that's what I'm talking about. Boy, that
People
was
wonder why I'm
4
friends
months in
with
the
Will.
making. Hey, so Eye of the Storm this Saturday in Sierra Vista, Arizona. Dave, any final words for our fans out there?
Yeah, you could tell me about the special guest. I might have had some questions prepared, but I like to be, like on the spot, and so I was really glad I got to ask.
You
Stud
tell
the
me.
hard-hitting
Don't
stuff.
ever tell me anything. I just want to be on the spot, and so that's what we
Speaking
did.
of hard-hitting stuff, I gotta find my way to my ex's place.
Anyway, that's going to do it for us. Thank you to Carrie and everyone at Urban Action. Thank you to Stud Bronson from the Peacemakers. We will see you guys Saturday at Eye of the Storm.